UFC 324, Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. Welcome everyone to Winning in the Shadows. Andy and Jim are going to break down all the fights from the first one all the way through the main event. Then at the end, we're going to give you our parlay buster and our woulda, coulda, shoulda. The fight that at the end of the night, we're going, why didn't we bet more on that? Jim, it's back. It's the era of Paramount, and they're setting us up with two back-to-back amazing cards. So you're as happy as anybody I know, to be back. Look at the look on his face. Uh, you've needed this back in your life.
I just missed watching people get punched in the face. So I've been going to the school and working on extra, just getting punched because I miss it so much. It's so good to have this sport back. I can't wait to see where they're going to go with this Paramount deal. I hope the quality of the product improves. Just really excited to get going here this year. Wild to have this long of a break in a sport that we're not used to.
Yeah. Well, let us get going here. We're going to start with Ty Miller, Adam Fugitt. Ty Miller coming in at a pretty big favorite here. We saw Ty Miller on Contender Series, and we liked him. It's the inexperience, though, that worries me in this one about him being that big of a favorite. Where did you land on this fight?
Exactly where you just said is we like Ty Miller. We liked him on Contender. This number's insane for a debut. That being said, he should beat Adam Fugitt. Really liked what we saw about Ty Miller. Crisp boxing, keeps the head movement, really put the length on Drago. My heart still hurts that we didn't get a short notice call up yet for Jimmy Drago because I thought that guy really earned that short notice spot. Maybe he's just waiting in the wings, but Ty Miller put it on him. And the big problem that I have with Fugitt is that he's slowing down, and he was never fast to begin with. When I say slowing down, I just don't mean his hand speed. His elusiveness, his head movement, his explosiveness, it is going south really fast. And when you don't have elite level physical tools and you start to lose your physical tools, it goes really, really quick. So I expect Ty Miller to win. The only place that I landed in this fight that could be worth it, it's not the minus 450 on the money line. I think you just take a stab on him by finish against Fugitt. We've seen Fugitt clipped and hurt and finished before. And, if he comes out with flat feet, the younger fighter is going to clip him on the way in. So I expect a good performance from Miller, but I will not be using that money line. It's just way too steep for me.
Yeah, we saw this. You got to be really careful with these Contender Series guys that look good. And they come in. I mean, this is a 6-0 fighter facing a UFC veteran that's 10-5. And these guys, some of these guys have looked so good on Contender Series, and they come in and you're like, oh, you're not chiseled like this guy is. Oh, this guy's been through wars. You haven't. So, yeah, I mean, Ty Miller beating, Jimmy Drago. This is Fugitt, who, has been in there with, Mike Malott, Michael Morales. But he did get knocked out by Islam Dolatov, who I believe was a Contender Series guy anyway. So we've seen this recipe before. It is Ty Miller, but I'm with you. I can't get there any which way. I think there's much better spots on the card. So we will move down the card. Oh, boy. Ricky Turcios, Cameron Smotherman. It's not the fight we wanted. It is the fight that we absolutely needed to kick off Paramount Plus. I will not have a penny on this fight, but I have a sneaking feeling you will.
I will. We've been talking about this one behind closed doors. And not that I'm the biggest Cameron Smotherman fan out there by any means. But I am really not a Ricky Turcios fan. This guy has looked absolutely lost in his fights recently. And the big problem, besides looking lost in his fighting style, is his interviews are getting worse and worse and worse. And I don't want to say it. I hope it's not happening. Is this a CTE issue? Is this that wear and tear from being a guy who just walks forward and blocks punches with your face? I know they haven't been big knockout shots, but it's an accumulation of damage over the years. And this striking is not good. It's pitter-patter. There's no real power behind it. He's billed as a wrestler. He really doesn't dominate in the wrestling. His stance and movement looks absolutely horrible. That's something I want to really pay attention to this year, is the way in which fighters move forward. And when you have a guy in a wide stance that moves forward and ducks their head down, that's their biggest defense, is to duck their head down. that only works for so long. And if anybody's trained, you know that when you duck your head, it's only a matter of time before you get clipped. That is not a sound strategy. This isn't boxing. Don't put your head down by your waist. Knees and flying knees and roundhouse kicks and front kicks are coming. So
They're
I think
legal.
Ricky's playing with fire. It's legal. That's right.
Legal in the sport.
The chokes are coming. It's all coming. I just think I really am gonna really hate myself if Cameron Smotherman just puts a beating on Turcios for 3 rounds, and I don't have money on it. I have to fade Ricky, and I will continue to do so. Even if he wins, I will bet against him his next fight because he will get a step up from Cameron Smotherman.
You're you're talking me into it. You're not. You haven't gotten me there 100%.
I got 2
yet,
more
but
days.
he threw us off the set with Jake Hadley, this Cameron Smotherman, who looked really good, and then lays a complete egg against City. Same sloppiness, not good punches, bad defense. Just looked like it was his second day on the job. And then he lost to Ricky Simone, but we got healthy Ricky Simone in that one. And I thought that was a really easy smash spot on Ricky for us. I'm certainly not betting on Turcios, and it is sad to say you're right. When you listen to some of these guys' interviews, you're going, "Oh no." So the pick is Smotherman. I have not bet it yet because I just think this is shit fighting shit, and I just don't really want to get involved in there. But it is Smotherman or nothing, even at the minus. I mean, Cameron Smotherman minus 192, and yet it's the only way that I could possibly see us. There's literally no upside to Ricky Turcios. You haven't seen one good thing from him recently. I mean, this is the guy that would he try to do fake shake hands with Raul Rosas? Do the fake shake hands and then try to punch him and it backfired. So if you're gonna do that, at least make it controversial, make it work. Don't get your ass kicked after that. So
It seems
all right,
like a
we'll move
clown
on.
show.
Yeah, it really is. We move on to Josh Hokit and Denzel Freeman. Been checking out some of the other the YouTube channels, and this seems to be the popular public dog. And it checks all the boxes. Oh, we love him in LFA. A lot of people on YouTube like to claim they know LFA. Oh, we followed him from LFA. I don't know about Josh Hokit. Oh, Denzel Freeman, Greco-Roman wrestler, trying to show all their chops. I got Hokit in a landslide. I'm not impressed with Denzel Freeman in the slightest. I watched this guy, this supposed amazing wrestler, get taken down in LFA. And if you're getting taken down in LFA, you're getting taken down against Josh Hokit unless you knock him out. This fight in the UFC debut was horrible. There was just a lot of kicks. There was little to no action. Showed, to me, no promise of trying to get the finish. And you're facing Josh Hokit, who I was terrified that his shtick was gonna get old real fast on Contender Series, and I'll give him credit. He did good with his shtick after his first fight. He did not like the leg kicks. That's a little bit of a worry, but I just don't think he's going to eat too many leg kicks. I think he's going to rush in on Freeman. This guy is a touch undersized, but he makes up for it with speed. We've seen his power, especially his power on the ground. And I think if he gets on top, I don't think Freeman can get out despite the wrestling thing. Like how many times we've seen a wrestler, yeah, they look good when they're on top, but when they're on bottom, it's a whole different animal. And I do not worry about his cardio. I watched him in his, I know it was his very first fight, but he went all 3 rounds and, got the finish there. Got the win in the second round of Contender Series. I just don't think Freeman's the guy to really push him, to really get him tired, unless Freeman just goes all in on the wrestling and surprises Hokit, but I don't see any surprises here. I have Hokit, and I also believe that one of the themes you and I talked about is what does UFC want to happen to start this year off? And Hokit is marketable. He's unique. He's a character. Let's just say his views may or may not align perfectly with the head of UFC. So I think this is a little bit of a setup fight. I'm not a Denzel Freeman guy. What do you think?
I agree with everything you said there.
Okay.
Everybody can give Freeman his flowers for the fights that he had in LFA, and the same thing, tongue in cheek. They're like, "Well, Josh Hokit hasn't fought anybody." You really look at these guys' records, and you think their level of opponent is so drastically different. They're fighting the same bottom of the barrel. It's a great side by side comparison. If you do your tape, if you put the numbers out and you do your tape study and you watch the two of these guys fight, they both have fought bad levels of competition. Let's be real here. And this is me being on Josh Hokit. It doesn't matter. They both stink. It's just bad. It's pathetic, some of the guys that they fought. And to say, like, oh, I've seen Freeman throw guys across the ring. He ain't throwing Josh across the ring. And I love what you said about the cardio, because it's not the fact that we have one round 3 fight where he made it to round 3. It's, does he pass the eye test? And Josh Hokit turns things up as they get going. He's almost, I wouldn't say a slow starter, because he started quick against who he's fought. But by the end of round 1, he's turning it up. And he gets up and bounces up back to his corner. Now, we just saw Freeman have to pull in the reins at the end of round 1, soaking wet in sweat, in a fight that was not competitive at all. Also, let's keep in mind that last fight that Freeman had was a short notice fight where we didn't know either of those guys were on,
That's
right?
true.
It was one of those that was added that week. So do you think Dana was like, hey, guys, Freeman's available. We got to get this guy right now. Get him on the card. We got to have him, right?
We can't lose out on Denzel Freeman.
It's like the Giants with John Harbaugh, right? Got to have him. No, this isn't that situation. They needed a fight. They got these guys in. They got it done. But they're not bringing Freeman in to beat Josh. They are using Freeman as cannon fodder, and you nailed it. This is a thing this year. We talked about how this used to be the way in PFL, and the UFC has adopted this mindset with these not young, but like less experienced prospects, only 7 fights, where they're going to build these guys up, and they have to with this Paramount deal. They need names if they're not going to do pay-per-views. They need names, and Josh is going to be a name. So I think it's Hokit. We had talked about finish. It is possible. I think it's ending up being either KO or a decision, more so at this point. I don't see any submissions going on from Josh, but yeah, I don't buy into the Freeman hype this week at all.
I could see a ground and pound type finish. So, the Giants. By the way, I mean, I have to say I got to give the Giants all the credit in the world. They used a business strategy. If you know who you want to hire, you don't let them leave the building. Mm-hmm. And they got John Harbaugh, and a couple days later, all of a sudden, the Bills' job and coaching Josh Allen is open, and they wrapped him up. Stefanski, same thing. They wanted their guy. They got him. Get him off the market. So, all right, we move on to Michael Johnson and Alexander Hernandez. I think I know who I like in this fight, but these are just 2 fighters that I have not done well on. If you pulled up, money that I've bet on these 2 guys, there's no chance that I'm profitable on either one of these guys, mostly because of Alexander Hernandez. The only time I know I really won was Michael Johnson knocking out Otman Izatar, and it still took him to round 2 in a fight that he was not looking very good in. I cannot get a read on either one of these guys. I'm going to go to you first because my breakdown will be pretty short because I'm at a loss.
Well, my breakdown is going to be short too because it's like you were in my head because these are the exact thoughts that I had. Is I haven't made money on either of these guys. I have tried to fade Alexander Hernandez, said he was a washed fighter, and what has he done? He's come back and cost me money. What, 3 fights in a row? What's the win streak for Hernandez right now? 4, right? 4, 3.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, not like the most
I've tried to fade him
in the world.
Yeah, but I've tried to fade him against Austin Hubbard. I bet Austin Hubbard live, lost it. Hollowell get him. Nope. Chase Hooper, well, that ended bad. And then Diego Ferreira, he knocks out Diego Ferreira, the eternally tough guy, a veteran. I'm just not in the business of either one of these guys. Is this a fight doesn't go? It's the only other thought that I had on this.
I don't know. I'm going to lean Alexander Hernandez because I think he's figured out a few things. The split win was not a great look. Listen, he beat who he's in front of. Congratulations. Yeah. The Chase Hooper one, it was technically losing volume, but you could just tell he was being patient and he had the power advantage. And sure enough, he just smoked Hooper. And he did it again. It's Diego Ferreira, and that's a real win. That was I was like, okay, that's now we're talking something.
Mhm.
He didn't look as frenetic. He didn't look as tired. He looked a little bit more in control. And never forget that this is one of these guys that when he came into UFC, what 6, 7 years ago, 8 years ago,
8 years
he
ago.
was like a ultra big prospect. I mean, look who he
Mhm.
debuted against: Beneil Dariush,
Yeah.
OAM, Donald Cerrone. Like they brought him in to fight, the big boys, and it just hasn't gone, wild. But there was a reason why they brought him in because he's, got the prospect thing. Maybe he's finding his own. So I will go with him mostly because of the age thing. You got Michael Johnson, who's 39 years old, and how much longer is he going to do it? This win against Daniel Zellhuber was really impressive. Caught me out of nowhere. It also caught Daniel Zellhuber out of
Yeah.
nowhere. But Zellhuber got off to a horrifically slow start. I don't see Hernandez doing that. It's Hernandez as the official pick for this video.
Mhm.
Am I betting on it? I've learned my lesson. Not with these two. These two, no, thank
No,
you.
this is one you check the live box and you just wait. And you watch the fight and you wait and you hope the books make a mistake. There's no point in
Even
having money on this pre-fight.
even then, I don't know if I want to do anything with live betting. It's just yuck.
How
So
many how many beverages will we have in us by the time that fight starts?
it's only the fourth fight,
All right, yeah,
so
maybe we'll pass. Maybe we'll
we
pass.
should be good. So probably 9 or 10 because we're excited about it all day. So, real quick, guys, we are running a special over at Wager Talk. It truly is a no brainer. It's the 7 days for the price of three. The reason we bring this up is we have our 5% best bet that is up on Saturday, but you might as well just get this because you're getting a full week of plays. We have done very well on the Australian Open. You're going to get all of those. Jan has just been crushing cricket
Oh,
recently, so really happy with that. NBA is on a really nice run. At the time we're recording this, we're on a 6-3 run. So all sports you're going to get, and it gets this 5% UFC best bet. Any UFC plays that we have, we'll put up attached there. But I know college football is over. I know we only got a couple more NFL plays, but we will have a 5% NFL best bet that is up. So there's no reason to buy a play. Just get a package. And if you haven't tried us out, this is a perfect time to see what we can do. Written analysis with every single one of our plays across all sports. Golf, we got quite a few golf plays this week. And we keep telling you guys this. When football season is over, now's when we make the money. Now it's money making time.
this is our
We
time.
thrive in the obscure sports and the obscure markets that you may not be familiar with, but I can promise you we are familiar with it, and that's where we do our damage. 26 units just to start off 2026. So really, really happy with that. You don't need a promo code; it's on the specials page. We'll put the link in the comment section. So let's make some money this weekend. All right, next fight we're going to try and make some money off of. This is Jim. This is just Jim written all over it. Two fighters that he knows very well. He likes betting on and against. So the floor is yours, my friend. Alex Perez and Charles Johnson.
Let's go to Perez first. My boy.
How did I
My
know?
side
How did I
hustle
know?
theory right here. The side hustle. First of all, at this point, no spring chicken. Another guy who's been in the UFC forever, battled injuries up, down, left, and right. I can remember going into the Nicolau fight, I think it was, or was it the Bukauskas fight? We had talked about the injuries. And look, it still kept happening. Tagir, Steve Irsay cancel fights. Like, the guy's still getting hurt and still cancel fights. So, again, I sound like a broken record if you guys have been with us for a long time, but humor me, we got to say it again. If you cannot trust a fighter to get to the cage healthy, you cannot bet on the fighter. And I'm not saying injuries that you know about. There's stuff that we don't know about that these guys walk into the cage all the time with. And we're going to find out after the fight that it's an MCL, or you dislocated your big toe, or I dislocated my shoulder, I got a tendon torn here. These guys are just beat up, and the wear and tear on Perez's body just is not going away, and it's not going to. The thing with him is when it goes bad, it goes really bad. This Almabayev finish in round 3, absolutely great showing by Almabayev. Perez was game in that fight, but it played out exactly as I thought it was that at some point, Azu was going to take over. Now, I didn't see him climbing him like a tree and choking him unconscious, but that's the thing with Perez. When it comes to fighting a submission, the guy takes his ball and goes home. And to clarify, before you all crucify me in the comments, I'm not calling him a quitter, okay? He's still a cage fighter that I respect, but he doesn't fight off these submissions the way you want to see some of these guys fight off. It's almost like a fight or flight, and he chooses flight. Against Charles Johnson, I don't know if the submissions are so bad, but also we look at Perez's record. Who is the last great striker that he has fought? It's not Almabayev.
It's a really good point. Oh wow, you're absolutely right. I mean,
grapplers, right? But
yeah, they really
have grappler.
Given them all grapplers.
So who's the last stand-up? Keep scrolling down because this guy's been in the UFC since we were in high school. So
Fig choked him out, but early round 1, so that wasn't
Formiga. I would say more of a grappler, right? Or more of a striker, right? But again, we're going back to 2020.
Deep here. We're digging deep here.
We're pulling it. So. We're digging at straws here. It's not. So I think this is the best striker and the best cardio test that he is ever going to have fought in recent years. Again, we want to keep everything 4 or 5 years. Anything beyond that, it has no bearing. So if Johnson could stay safe in the first round, I don't see how he doesn't win round 2 and round 3. At some point, the damage is going to accumulate on Perez. Where Johnson has to be careful is the leg kicks of Perez and the counters off of the leg kicks. We've seen Charles Johnson be susceptible to that. But what I really like is that the last time we saw Charles, yes, he got the big knockout over Kavanaugh, but that was in August. A lot of time off for Charles Johnson here. We're used to the repetitive Charles Johnson, right? I love that he's taking some time off because that pace is unsustainable. So I want to see these big gaps here. So I think we're going to see one of the best versions of Charles Johnson that we've seen in a long time. Love Charles Johnson on the money line. It's under minus 200. I'm fine playing that. Last I checked, minus 182, I believe.
Yep, minus 180 on DraftKings.
When the finish lines come out, I'll be looking at Johnson by finish because when Perez loses, like I said, it goes bad. It goes bad. And again, just like earlier on, I will be kicking myself if I don't make money fading Alex Perez until he retires.
It's a tough one for me because I can't argue with anything, and then I just look at Perez and I go, yeah, but he was looking good against Almabayev. Like he was holding his own in the first round against Tyra. He knocked out Nicolau, who was half asleep and still maybe half asleep, no chin. And Bukauskas, that was he was able to fight off a bunch of submissions, but Bukauskas does get him, and that he got his. He's actually lucky his head is still attached to what Pantoja did to him. I mean, rear naked choke is putting it lightly. That was your one step away from your head coming off your head. But what is this Tyra injury? Almabayev and Pantoja, they were all on his back, like standing up, I believe. Mm-hmm. So there's issues there. I'm with you. I'll go with Johnson. I mean, he didn't look all that great against Kavanaugh. He was pretty lucky, I thought, to get that knockout.
Kavanaugh was winning.
Yeah, Kavanaugh was winning and just made a really boneheaded decision, but give Johnson credit. So, yeah, I guess I'm not as confident as you, but if I have to pick something, it's going to be Charles Johnson. We move on to Krylov and Bukauskas here. This is I'll lead us off on this one. I just have never seen anybody completely lose their chin and durability and then get it back. Like once it's gone, it's gone. This isn't like a gallon of milk where you can just go to the store and get another one when you're all out. Nikita Krylov his chin is absolutely straight toast. He disappears, he disappears off the face of the planet for a while, and he comes back, and there's crazy rumors about what he was doing. And this is a guy that has a million fights on his record anyway, 41 professional fights. Rumor was he was in the war. No one can really account for him. And he comes back and he gets sparked by Reyes on one punch. And then Bogdan Guskov drops him. So I think Nikita Krylov is absolutely done. You want to talk about wear and tear? I think he's completely done. I've got Bukauskas winning this one. And I mean, Bukauskas has knocked out two guys in his last three that have major durability issues, and he's done it in the first round. Paul Craig, that was a easy win on Bukauskas to win inside the distance. We bet on him to knock out Figueiredo. Easy win inside the distance. So I'm looking here at the lines. Bukauskas is only minus 148. Jim, I can't believe that. I seriously cannot believe that. And I will be heavily invested in Bukauskas by finish because, I mean, Bukauskas, he lost. His loss was to Vitor Petrino when he was doing fine. He walked into a check hook. But other than that, when he's come back from this, he got cut. He comes back from Cage Warriors. You cannot argue the record. Now, is he fighting the best level of competition? No. But Krylov, man, I just don't think Krylov is wrestling him to the ground, and the longer it stays on the feet, the longer it's just going to get Krylov to catch one on the chin, and literally that's all it needs is one on the ground. So I've got Bukauskas. I got Bukauskas by knockout, but we always say don't play knockout, just play inside the distance. So I won't even take the minus 148. I'll just wait. This ain't going the distance. No chance it's going the distance. What do you think?
I'm going to catch a lot of shit for what I'm about to say, and I'm here for it in 2026, folks. Dare I say this is the exact same fight as the Paul Craig fight? If you look at Nikita Krylov and you look at Craig side by side, and you watch their tape, which I did, Krylov's striking has looked pretty bad for the few seconds that we've got to see it before he was sleeping on the canvas. Keep in mind. Does that sound like a Paul Craig description, perhaps?
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. All right. Come at me if you want. It's fine. I think this plays out exactly the same. If he hurts Krylov and doesn't knock him out, Krylov will pull guard because he is a good grappler. But Bukauskas showed in that Craig fight patience. He waited to the very end of the round to really go big on the ground and pound. He stayed safe against Paul Craig, and I would venture to say that Paul Craig's jiu-jitsu is slightly better. I think Krylov's a little bit better of a wrestler, but his entry on his shots over this past run, he's shooting from a mile away. He's not setting up any of the takedowns. He's afraid to get in the pocket and engage because that chin is gone. So that is forcing him to attack from long range. Well, now you have a kickboxer. To me, Bukauskas has one assignment here. Do not let your leg get caught on a leg kick, please. Like, if he does not get ankle picked, how does Krylov get this to the ground? I think it's literally the same as the Paul Craig fight. And if he pulls guard and he ends up on bottom, it's going to be one or two shots from Bukauskas, and then it's going to be Krylov out. So I think this is a pretty tailor-made fight for Bukauskas. It's the same fight that he just had. You just have to understand your assignment and stick to that game plan. Love what you said about taking it by finish. I think this fight doesn't start round 3 is probably one of your best parlay pieces on this card. You could even go the under 1.5. I don't see it getting out of round 1. I really don't. If Krylov gets on his back, it could be the end of Bukauskas in round 1. But I think it's a knockout for Modestas here. And he keeps this run going. We'll be looking to fade Modestas after this fight. If he gets the win on Krylov and he is to step up into the top 15 for the first time, we will be looking to fade Modestas depending on the matchup.
Yeah, he's done the assignment. Go knock out Paul Craig. Okay, I will. All right. Teba Gautier, second biggest favorite on the card, behind Umar. But yeah, Teba Gautier, the beast, the man, the myth, the legend. We've had a really good read on Pulyaev, like really good read on him. Picked him against Liam Anderson when he was the underdog. really faded him hard against Christian Leroy Duncan. And then one of the sizable live bets that we've made, or I've made, was against Nick Klein, when Nick Klein tried to empty the gas tank early, and it didn't exactly work. So my read on Pulyaev is he's durable, he's cagey, he doesn't make big mistakes, but he does kind of have a little bit of that rope-a-dope in him, where I'll eat some punches to try and land my own, which can work in against some fighters, but this ain't the guy to do it. He's got a pretty limited ceiling. Pulyaev could be a really good like contender series gatekeeper type guy. Like okay, you got a young up and coming fighter. All right, put him in against Pulyaev. But to me, this is to me, this is a showcase from Gautier. I don't see a world in which he doesn't absolutely spark Pulyaev. So I'm trying to find any value, but this will also be a theme that Jim and I will talk about. I can't be scared to lay some of these big juice numbers. It's worked for us in other sports, and I mean, like, you can't play minus 900. I don't know. I just don't want to leave UFC 324 without making money on Gautier somehow. So, what's the way we're gonna do it here?
I think it's going to be him by finish. I'd like to look at the rounds 1 and 2, finish in 1 and 2 when it comes out. That's going to be, again, first show of the year. We're going to talk about what we've been talking about for 6 weeks behind the curtain of our strategy going into this year. Is that, if that finish doesn't come by the end of round 2, it ain't coming. At that point, you're playing for a W. You're not playing for a knockout. So I think attacking these big, heavy favorites in round 1 and 2, getting a playable number on that is probably a wise idea. You've done your homework on these fights, buddy, because you are taking a lot of words out of my mouth on this thing. And like you said, Pulyaev will take 2 to give you 1. This strategy is not going to work this week against Gautier. You cannot take anything from this guy. The question for me is, we're 4 fights in on Gautier in the UFC? 4 or 5?
I'll pull it up here. I will tell you it's minus 400 Gautier to win in rounds 1 and 2. You can get 1 and 2 at minus 400. Yeah. So if you want to count, so we want to count contender series, and then Jose Medina. I mean, listen, Jose Medina is a very durable guy. He got him out of there quick. Valentin got him out of there, and Tristan Vines, I'm not sure how much you can take away, but I wouldn't put Pulyaev that much ahead of some of these other guys. He's better, but he's not that much better.
I mean, Ozzy Diaz needs to thank his lucky stars that fight got canceled. We might have never seen Ozzy again after that.
I forgot he was supposed to fight Ozzy Diaz.
Remember that one?
Oh no,
no
Ozzy.
Ozzy Diaz needs to thank Dana for that one. It's good. Pulyaev is going to force this to be a firefight. Gautier is not going to stay at range. I think he's going to get inside and get dirty. And I just went back and watched Pulaev's fight against CLD, and the damage that was done in close. If he gets hit with those shots from Gautier, he's going down. CLD was this close for 3 minutes to finish this guy, and just kind of was like, all right, he made the smart decision. He's not going down. I need to pace myself and win this fight. Gautier is going to go after him. My point with Gautier was, we're 5 fights in. It's time to start seeing improvements. And I think at this point, we're going to see improvements. I would not be shocked to see Gautier pick this man up and dump him on his head. There's no way he has not been working wrestling. A ground and pound finish would be very interesting to see from this uber prospect that the UFC loves. And he can most certainly pull that off against Pulyaev, primarily a kickboxer.
Nice. All right, real quick while we're doing this, if you guys please hit the like button. This is something that I need to get much better at, because when we don't get likes, it really does hurt the algorithm, and we don't rank, and we're working really hard to build these videos up and build this channel up. So if you guys please just hit the like button. And every week we're going to run a contest. I haven't told Jim this.
I figured.
Yep. So here's going to be the contest. Give me the fighter and the method of victory and what round. And if you get it right in the comment section, free 3-day pass. So I mean, there's going to be a lot of Gautier by KO round one. You want to go Bukauskas KO round one. If you pick the same one, we're just going to have to randomly pick one. So I would advise if something's already been picked, pick something else. Otherwise, you're gonna get a tie, and you're gonna be drawn out of a hat. But we're gonna try and give away one a week. So that's gonna be the contest this year. Free, free, free
Free
3
stuff,
day pass.
guys. Free stuff. Get in there.
So you got to have an account at Wager Talk, but yeah, that's what we're going to do this year. So, but appreciate you guys watching, and we move on to the biggest favorite, Umar Nurmagomedov, Davison Figueiredo, and I had a hilarious conversation with Yanni. Yanni the Greek, we were just talking, and Yanni was like, what can you do with this minus 1450? And I was like, well, Yanni and I and all of us, there's more than one way to make money. And I just said, Yanni, I will just tell you, my team and I are going to have to figure out a way to make money off of Nurmagomedov. I don't know how, but we have to make money off of these fights. Like, you want the X's and O's? Okay, here, I'll give you the X's and O's as to why this is this big of a favorite. First off, he's so over the hill. Brutal knee injury against Corey Sandhagen, and then he comes back a pretty quick time later. We were like, why, Fig? Why are you taking? And, well, look how old he is, man. This guy's 38. What, are you going to take a year off? So they rush him back, and I'm thinking this has got like bad news written all over it if he's not healthy. And then he gets the gift of all gifts of Montel Jackson. Jim, I still don't think to this day I've seen a fighter in that big of a spot more nervous.
Yeah, here's the Montel Jackson fight strategy.
He froze. The man absolutely froze.
Yeah.
And you and I are live betting Fig because we're getting plus money, and we're like, Montel is so nervous. He's shaking, like he's got goosebumps. He can't pull the trigger on anything. And it was a split decision. Like he got the gift of all gifts. So I have a guy who's too much wear and tear. He's not the guy that can violently knock anybody out. I mean, his last finish was, choking out Cody Garbrandt, which we correctly called. But, this guy's been to war with Brandon Moreno a bunch. And this is just too big of a step up in competition. I'm glad he's getting these fights and glad he's getting these marquee pieces. But this is Umar. Umar, this fight against Bautista was great. So much respect for Bautista. I didn't expect Bautista to be this good of a fighter. I'm stunned by it. Bautista was able to wobble him a little bit. Fact is, Umar's lost to Merab and Merab only, and he won the first couple rounds. So if you can win the first couple rounds against Merab, you can win the first few rounds against Davidson. Speed's going to be there. I actually think the takedowns are going to be there if he wants them. The jab and move, and I don't think Fig can keep up with him. So I come to you and just say, what's the path to trying to make money off of this fight?
Well, I'll tell you the path not to make money, and talk to some of my personal friends who bet the sport. I've also listened to a lot of tape and reviews. If you want to burn some money, bet Davidson by submission. It seems to be the real hot topic. Is that that guillotine?
What?
Hold on. This is what I'm getting at, okay? This is why I wanted to bring this up first. This is lunacy. You really think Nurmagomedov's going to tap out to anybody? Anybody like to name me one that has? Anyone? I'll wait.
I mean, they've
like
lost like a
money.
collective 4 fights.
Yeah, they didn't get submitted. They've been decisions. This is always in PFL too. I mean, I'm not talking about the low-level guys that are at the gym, but the studs, right? Your thoroughbreds at Eagle. He ain't get submitted. At some point, the wrestling will be there. At some point, Fig's cardio will quit. The whole reason Fig is at this weight class is because his body can't make the cut anymore. So he's still up. When they get in the cage and they rehydrate, Umar's going to look huge. Huge. We know how these guys rehydrate. They already cut a ton of weight. There also is a highly motivating situation right now, which is the fact that Merab ain't the champ, guys. This is now or never.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
If
Yeah.
you're in this division and you want to be champion, you better cut a hell of a promo after a win. You better win in dominating fashion, and you have to claim that title shot. Claim that title shot. I'm the next one. I think he's going to do it this week. I know it's usually these guys by decision. It would not shock me one bit to see Fig melt in round 3, and I'm going to pick submission the other way. I think he gets submitted in round 3. Just melts him. So, yeah,
Okay.
we'll make money on this fight, some way, shape, or form.
I'll figure it out. Something with Gautier minus 400 in the rounds 1 and 2. I don't know. But there's got to be some way to make money off. You just refuse to let this fight go and just say, damn it, how do we not cash on that? I know it was minus 1,500, but I mean, listen, I put several $1,000s down on a darts play. People were like, you're crazy. It's minus 1,000. And it was the easiest 10% return on my money I've ever made in 20 minutes. So like sometimes these spots just warrant a shot. If I lose, sun's going to rise the next day. Arnold Allen, Gene Silva. Boy, this Gene Silva, this is taking on a whole new feel with him. We've done really well in making money on him. What do we do with him right now, Jim? I'm coming to you first because this fight is really truly fascinating to break down. You could talk me into a bunch of different ways of how this fight goes down. And by the way, Gene Silva, the massive favorite, favorite.
Yes,
Close
that
to
changes
-300.
everything. That changes everything when talking about this fight. Having Gene Silva be a massive favorite after a loss. So here's where I'm at with these two guys. I don't think anybody's going to be happy after this fight. I feel like this is the fight where the most money is lost, especially with Silva being a massive favorite the way he is. I have huge questions about the fighting nerds in 2026. We need to let go of the fighting nerd streak from last year. Ruffy left the gym. Kaio had his chance and blew it. Silva had his chance and blew it. The women look like crap in their fights. Lost. What is going on at the fighting nerds? They started the year really hot. We made a ton of money. Okay? But when you see a flagship guy like Ruffy leaving the fighting nerds, something is up. Your best guys don't leave like that.
Kyle looked like shit in his last fight. Like Silva's not measured. So you're saying something's up.
Now I could be dead wrong, okay? And Silva is going to knock out Arnold Allen, but I'm not going to pay to learn it. Why do I have to make my donation to the books to learn, find out if I'm right or wrong? It's a long year, guys. We're going to get 3 more fights out of Gene Silva this year if he gets this win. Maybe 2 or 3. Arnold Allen, just perennially like underwhelming. Okay, I thought Silva was doing great against Lopez. Would Lopez have looked the same way against Arnold Allen? Probably. Probably would have won that fight. Arnold Allen always leaves something to be desired at the end of every fight, where we're waiting for this guy to take the next step. Now, if we go to his age, scroll on up for me.
32.
A little shocking to me. I expected him to be 30, 29, around that. I didn't realize he was already 32. The fact that this guy always goes to decisions most of his fights, it's a lot of damage, and he wears damage bad. And against a guy like Silva, that could swing this fight. One bad cut, one bloody nose at the end of a round. We saw that last year. All of a sudden, someone bleeds the last minute and they lose a round just because they got a bloody nose. I get a bloody nose when I blow my nose in the morning. So, I mean, I'm going to wait and see on this fight. Gut reaction tells me fight goes the distance. Think that's your safest bet. I will not have $1 on this fight before it starts, and I will watch it live and see what I can do with it. Not picking a side. I want to know what's up with these fighting nerds. Be careful with your bankrolls to start this year, folks.
Yeah, I would like to go back to Gene Silva because he certainly has the upside, but there's just a few things I don't like. I don't like how he shakes hands and daps guys up and, fist bumps in the middle of fights. It is who it is. It is who he is. I think I just have to accept it. I don't like it. It looks weird. I think it throws off the pace. Maybe it throws off the pace of the other guy. So maybe maybe there's something there to that one. There was just some real venom between him and Diego Lopez, and it was an uncharacteristic, wild performance from him. I mean, there was bad blood between him and Bryce Mitchell, but he was controlled. He on purpose was not knocking him out so he could submit Bryce Mitchell. Like how diabolical was that? Like, no. I could knock you out, but I'm not going to. I'm going to beat you at your own game, and I'm going to ninja choke you. And Melsick, he played with his food and then torched him at the end of the round. Dober put that massive cut on him and sent Charles Jourdain into the nether realm. But with Lopez, there was just something. It was too uncontrolled. It was too uncontrolled for me.
Fight. You remember that?
What's that?
Their camps got into a fight before the fight backstage.
Yeah,
it was a little too much.
It was just it was a little too much, and he was doing good. There were some really good moments between both of them, but here's the thing. Does Arnold Allen have that upside of Diego Lopez? I don't think so. Was Arnold Allen going to throw that spinning back elbow? I don't think so. I think Arnold Allen is a point fighter at this point. So, okay, what are his wins? Giga, who's pretty much washed, loses to Evloev, loses at a boxing clinic to Holloway, but Holloway does that to everybody.
One of our best bets of the year, Max Holloway over him.
Oh my God, that was that was a gift. Calvin Cater, the knee injury, and then he got the win against Dan Hooker, but now you're looking at Nick Lentz and Sadiq Youssef. So I will pick Gene Silva, but I'm with you. I think I'm not willing to pay this minus 300 or whatever. And I think a knockout's going to be tough to come by for Gene Silva because Arnold Allen can measure the distance but I'm with you. The fighting nerds are kind of off limits at this point until further notice. So maybe we get a good. The only way that I'm going to live bet is if I feel like Arnold Allen is pulling ahead because I'm not going to get a good read on Gene Silva because he's already the favorite. If he starts off good, he's going to be minus 700, minus 800. The only way you're going to be able to live bet it is Arnold Allen if you think he can outbox him. So, all right, we'll move on to. I continue to say that I think Natalia Silva has the highest approval rating of any UFC fighter on the roster. Name one person that's like, who I really don't like? Natalia Silva. Who annoys me? Natalia Silva. You know who I don't like? The really cute girl that puts on exciting fights and is super fast and likable and has a great smile and can box for 30 straight minutes. I think she's the most likable fighter on the roster. I can't think of one other person that's got that high of an approval rating. But she's also a cash cow. This girl's an absolute wagon, and she'll be the easy pick for me. I'll let you do the X's and O's, though.
Yeah, I think Natalia Silva paid for my son's birthday last year. How much we made off of her. She's just great at everything. So here's my big question with this fight. Natalia's ranked number 4. Why the heck is she fighting Rose, who's ranked 9 in this weight class?
Well, I think wasn't Rose supposed to fight someone? I'm pretty sure Rose. Here, let me see.
This is what.
She was. She was supposed to fight Grasso.
So she pulls out, right?
Yeah. So Silva decides to jump in, and I really think this was hey, we do UFC a favor and save a fight on this card. You're going to get a title shot. Mm-hmm. I think that's what's going on here with this one. That's my best guess.
So Rose is supposed to fight Grasso. And at the time, what was Grasso ranked? 2.
Okay, I see where you're going.
So even worse of a situation, right? Natalia fights Grasso, does the damn thing. Does exactly what we thought she was going to do. I believe that Alexa Grasso was a tougher test than Rose Namajunas. And here's why. Rose goes to the wrestling, but I don't think she's as threatening anymore. And I really feel that since Rose got dumped on her head by Jessica Andrade, She had a C6 spinal fusion.
Yeah. Wow.
That the grappling hasn't been there since. She doesn't have the ability to push it. The explosiveness has not been there. Rose is still one of my favorite fighters, but there's an issue there. There's just an issue with the explosiveness. Far cry from her flying armbar on Ultimate Fighter, right? Like that explosiveness is just not there. She has the fight against Manon Fiorot where she's winning, gets an injury. It's a pinky. Not taking it away for her. I'm sure it sucked. It was pointing a different direction. But she had opportunities where she still could have won that fight. I question if Rose's motivation in the heat of the moment is what it is outside of the cage. In training, I'm sure she's purely motivated. But when fights get nasty, I think we got an issue. And Natalia Silva, cute as a button, when she gets in the cage, she's nasty. There is no holding back with any of her strikes. I believe this fight's going to be won on the exits. They're both going to exchange. Now, on those exchanges, Rose has a habit that as she gets tired to try to be long and leave her hands low and use her head movement. And I would be terrified of the kicks of Natalia Silva on exit. If I see Natalia Silva throwing a kick at the end of her combinations and exchanges, it's bad news for Rose Namajunas. Natalia keeps her hands low, but her movement on exit is beautiful. I mean, how many times we watch a fight where she's on the back against the cage and her opponents are swinging and they're just off balance, falling into the cage? Rose isn't going to be that bad, but the exits of Natalia are so good. I think this is Natalia Silva. I'm so tempted to bet her by decision. But on those exchanges on the exits, I am very concerned that she is going to catch Rose on the way out. Almost the same way that Rose did with Wei Li, catching her at distance with one of those quick little spot kicks with the front leg right up in the air. Almost the same situation. So, love Natalia in this. I think Rose's time has passed. This matchup, ranking-wise, makes no sense. I get why they're doing it. It makes no sense.
All right. We have not talked a whole lot about underdogs. Buckle up, because now we hit the underdog part of the video for your boy A. Lang here. So we're going to talk about Waldo Cortes Acosta taking on Derek Lewis. And there is one word that will define this fight, Jim. And that word is peptides. As Derek Lewis says he's in the best shape of his life because the UFC got him on peptides. I'm in, Derek. I'm in on the peptides, buddy. You're going to give me this big of a plus money play on Derek Lewis. I think it's at this point, it's just kind of a must play at any level. And the nice thing is, this is one of the fighters where you can just take KO because Derek Lewis ain't submitting anybody. Like you look at Waldo, Cortes loses to Pavlovich. I'm sorry, he lost to Anthony D'Elia. That was
agreed.
That was a sham. He was knocked out. Then they review it as an eye poke after D'Elia's been celebrating. Then he gets to come back and knock out a D'Elia who had the adrenaline dump of all adrenaline dumps. Knocks out Gaethje, which was impressive in the moment. But you put pressure on Acosta, and I think he gets on his back foot and melts a little bit. He gets in there, tries to clinch and slow things up a little bit. And Derek Lewis, do people understand why they stopped the fight against Taliesin Teixeira? It wasn't because
I don't think they do. Everybody's so mad about this, but go ahead.
Okay. They said, well, Taliesin Teixeira was trying to get up, and our boy, the ref, stopped it. Oh, it must be fixed. By rule, you cannot use the fence to pull yourself up when you are getting finished. Like it was an actual climbing the fence while you're getting knocked out. That's why. It wasn't just because he was getting rocked, which, by the way, if the ref had let the fight go 4 more seconds, he would have been face down, It's because he was trying to climb he was climbing the fence himself. You can't do that. That's a rule. So, I can't believe that the amount of people that think that was an early stoppage when they don't understand that. So, yeah, look what he did against Nascimento. Weathers the early, leg kicks and such, knocks him out late. Jailton Almeida is not going to stand and bang with anybody. Comes out and just sparks Marco Rogerio de Lima with that early knee. I just think if you're going to stand in front of Derek Lewis needs one shot knockout power, and he's plus 260. And I would take him by KO. What is it? Okay, so Derek Lewis is plus 260. If it's knockout, it's probably plus 261. But because that's Derek Lewis's path to victory. I'm in on the peptides. This price makes this a play that I want to get involved with. So I will take Derek Lewis as the underdog.
You don't know how happy I am that you've ended up on Derek Lewis with this. We have said 0 words about this fight for 6 weeks. We haven't had a conversation about this.
You and I have not talked. You're right. That's right. We have not talked about this.
We even said a word about this. I think the only thing that we said is do whatever you have to do to make money on fight doesn't go, fight doesn't start round 3. That was something that. But as far as picking a side, no. I agree with you on the peptides. Let's do it from an X's and O's standpoint. Okay, let's look at this.
No, I want to hear the
peptides
breakdown. The peptides. The peptides.
Here's how I see this fight playing out. Acosta's riding high with confidence. I think this fight starts and Acosta starts going for the leg kicks. He has very heavy leg kicks. That is something that he has added to his repertoire. And they're heavy kicks, and we know we got a big sample size with Derek. Derek doesn't like to play the leg kick game. Not one bit. So if you go back and you watch all these times that Derek does have to take leg kicks, at some point he's got that, well, screw this in the fight. And he just goes full-on Black Beast and just runs at the guy and starts swinging. The thing I don't like about Acosta in this situation is he doesn't have a good guard. Yes, he keeps his hands up, but when you keep your hands up in front of you and Derek's throwing those overhand rights, they sneak right around that lead hand. And there is something different about being hit by a Derek Lewis punch. It doesn't have to land clean at all. I'll bring up another elephant in the room about Mr. Waldo here. He takes this short notice fight against Shamil. Soon as they announce this, absolute nightmare situation for Shamil. Absolute nightmare.
Yeah, that's right.
He goes from fighting Usman to fighting Acosta. You can't have 2 more different builds and styles than that. He's thinking, I can wrestle this guy. I can sit on Usman. I'm going to take him down. Now what does he get? A speedy power puncher. And you could tell as soon as that fight started, about 10, 15 seconds in, you're like, Shamil has no idea what he's doing. And his hands were out like this.
Trained for this.
And he just nailed him with that right hand. It was a nice left hook to right hand, I believe, combo. But it was just, Shamil was just lost. Total style change a couple days before the fight. So he gets that benefit. I think this is going to be Derek again. It's going to be another y'all must have forgot moment when the knockout king puts another guy down. And honestly, I'm here for it. I really would love to see Derek get one more. Start this year off with a Derek Lewis post-fight interview and make us all quite happy. And, give us the dog, buddy. Dog on this part.
All right. We move on to Sean O'Malley and Yadong Song. I like Yadong Song in this one. I'll get us started. The line surprises me. Here's why the line surprises me. I thought Sean O'Malley would be like a minus 400 on this one. Public perception. Oh, Sugar Sean. Welcome to the Sugar Show. Whatever. However long ago that was. To see minus 205, I was really, really surprised about this, and it really hasn't moved that much. But don't be surprised if Song Yadong wins this. And here's the path to victory. Sean O'Malley just is kind of over fighting. This is a guy that has a lot of money outside of UFC. He's probably one of the fighters that has more money that he makes outside of UFC than he does in UFC. He's even said, this may be my last year fighting. So, okay, Jim, I have been told that Sean O'Malley, this dynamic knockout striker. Okay, well, I saw Marab make mincemeat of him. He had a pretty decent performance in the first one, but again, I don't see a knockout. Marlon Vera can't get a knockout there. A really nice punch from Aljamain Sterling. Sterling came in way too fast. Aljamain Sterling even said I was ready for a break. I'd been fighting and working way too much. Controversial win over Petro Yan. Can't get the knockout there. Now we're to Pedro Munez in an eye poke, and now we're down to where his real knockouts are. And now we're talking about Paiva, Chris Matinho, Thomas Almeida, and Eddie Wineland. Remember how many years did we see the Eddie Wineland knockout? How many years have we seen that stupid knockout on Contender Series where his opponent is just standing there in front of him, like with no defense? He knocks him, and Dana's there like, holy shit! Welcome to the Sugar Show. I just don't see that Sean O'Malley anymore. I see a guy that is. Where's the passion? Where's the I'm going to get up at 4 a.m. and work out for all this. I don't see it anymore. I could see a real lazy performance here. And meanwhile, you got Yudong Song, who, the win against Cejudo was, did Cejudo look his absolute best? No. But, Song put on a pretty good performance, loses to Petro Yan, does get the win against Gutierrez, and that fight against Ricky Simone was awesome. It was such a great fight. I think this guy's built for it. O'Malley should have the reach advantage, but has he shown that he can really use it to full potential? I think Song can get inside. I think Song can strike with him. And if O'Malley doesn't have that movement and doesn't have that fire in him, I think he's going to look silly at times. I'm just going to say I don't think O'Malley knocks him out, and the books don't either. Over 2.5 at minus 245. So the books are saying no, it's going to go the distance, and so now I'm depending on Sean O'Malley to cleanly win 2 rounds against Song Yudong, who I think is more hungry. Who I don't know if he can get the takedowns, but I think he can at least get to the hips and make it interesting. And if Sean doesn't have that jab working all fight long, I'm out. So Song Yudong's going to be the pick here. What about you?
Love your last comment. When's the last time that Sean had his jab working for an entire fight? Has he ever?
We're living off this. We're living off the past, man. We're living off these. Yeah, not me. I love life through the windshield, not the rear view mirror.
That's
Jim.
right. Put that on a T-shirt. I love what you said about the decision. I think this is a clear-cut decision fight. I don't think we see a finish from either side. I absolutely love the Song plus 3.5 at minus 150.
Oh, that's a great look. I didn't even see the spread.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
That was the bet that I had written down for this fight. You're going to give me the plus 3.5 on Song. I'm taking it. Sean is going to do his thing for the first 2.5 minutes of the fight. And it's going to be Song chasing, and like you said, he's going to be peppering him with the jab, right hand to the body, left hand to the body, stabbing front kick, stabbing side kick, and he's going to move. At some point, Song has to close that distance, and he has the explosiveness to do so. And that's what we've seen O'Malley struggle with. And again, I'm going to go back to injuries. All the leg injuries that O'Malley has, the movement is just not the same. And it's not just because he was fighting Marab. If anything, that had to be on point more than anything. Fighting Marab, your movement should have been the best it's ever been. And I just don't know if physically he could do that. Like you said, the money outside the ring. The other thing is he's not just a dad. Now he's got multiple children. He's got a compound. I have serious questions about Tim Welsh as a coach at this point. To me, it strikes me as both of those guys are kind of living off what they did, and more power to them. They're making all the money they need to on a podcast. I know they're training new fighters, but that's the problem. When you start training other fighters and O'Malley's saying he wants to give back, you're taking time away from yourself. Fighting is a selfish sport. Families must take a back seat. Okay? Children must take a back seat. All responsibilities in a house must take a back seat. And you have to donate your time entirely to the fact that you're stepping into a cage against another human being that wants to take your head off. And if you're not willing to do that, it is very, very hard to be champion and stay at that level. We all go through it in life, different priorities. Sean's got different priorities, man. So when this fight gets dirty, I'll go back to like I said with Rose. If this fight gets dirty in round 2 or 3, it's Song. It's not Sean. It's not Sean. So give me that plus 3.5. That's my favorite.
Yeah, great look at the plus 3.5. I stand corrected. That's the best bet in this fight. All right, we move to the main event. Justin Gaethje, Paddy Pimblett. Again, please hit the like button. Leave a comment below. Tell us the fighter that you think is going to win, along with what round and what method of victory you win. Get a free 3-day pass. Any ties, we'll randomly pick a name. But we got to break down the main event, and then we'll give you our parlay buster and our woulda, coulda, shoulda. Coming to you, Jim. Main event, Justin Gaethje, Paddy Pimblett. How do you see it going down?
Well, I did a little touch up on my sign because I just got to make sure we keep it for this year. It's been said, everyone.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not saying Justin's going to retire now, but when you start hearing these comments from a coach and from a fighter, it's time. It's time to start thinking about it. All I have seen all week, and I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible. I know we've been a little long-winded, but we miss you guys. All I can see on socials, all I can see from ex-fighters, current fighters, is they're picking Justin. They're all hating on Paddy Pimblett. That makes me want to bet Paddy even more at this point. Because in case you haven't noticed, fighters and media personalities are the worst at picking who's going to win UFC fights. And we will continue to watch that. Exactly.
With the heart and the veteran. Yeah.
So if I'm looking at this with my heart as somebody who used to watch Gaethje back when World Series of Fighting, okay?
Wow.
Yeah. I'm picking Gaethje, but I'm no dummy. All right? When Gaethje steps up against a grappler, guess what happens? When he fights somebody who can grapple, he gets choked unconscious. Or he taps out. I think at some point, Paddy is going to get his back. It's going to look ugly early. But when Paddy gets his back, it is going to be a short night for Justin. Give me Paddy Pimblett. Give me Paddy Pimblett by finish. How does this fight go 5 rounds? Love this fight not to go to start the year. And don't forget, Paramount and UFC, they got this main event for a reason. They need this to deliver. First card on Paramount Plus.
I agree. I just think the under is the way to play because there is a path to victory for Justin Gaethje, and you're right. Like Fiziev, those fights are the fights between him. Those were decisions all day long. There was leg kicks and strategy, but Max Holloway, he gets knocked out right at the end. Man, was he getting pieced up. Poirier, nice head kick. You're right, and here we get to the Oliveira gets choked out. Khabib gets choked out. How the fight against Chandler went the distance, I'll never know. I would just like to bring up that Paddy Pimblett's last wins are Michael Chandler, who is how old and how washed? King Green, who is how old and how washed? Tony Ferguson, who is how old and how washed? And by the way, I have a hot take about Paddy Pimblett and the Jared Gordon fight. Jared Gordon did win the fight. I'm the only person on the planet that says it. By the way, if you do UFC content and you bring up that you didn't think Jared Gordon won it, congratulations. You sound like everybody else. So I'm with you that it's the under. I'm not ready to lay this price on Paddy. I'm just not. If Gaethje can work the leg kicks and win the striking battle, which he should early, he is the better striker. He could get some damage done to Paddy and he could make things a little interesting early. But you're right. Once Paddy gets to his back, once Paddy gets it on the ground, it should be elementary, my dear Watson. So either which fighter gets their way, I think the other one gets melted. So if Paddy gets pieced up on the feet, his striking defense isn't there, and Justin has success, I think he finishes him. But if Paddy gets to the back and gets him on the ground, I think Justin gets melted on the ground. So either path of victory for either fighter leads me to just say it's not going the distance. I'd lay a little bit of juice and say it doesn't start round 4. I don't know. It doesn't start round
like
5.
Time-wise, that's good. Yeah, for sure.
Something along those ways, because you want to they probably want to get a feeling out process in round 1, but once round 2 and 3 starts, that's when the violence and the potential finishes really start. So all right, Jim, it's time for the woulda, coulda, shoulda, and the parlay buster. Again, the 7 days for the price of 3 is by far the best deal. 5% this weekend in UFC. You're going to get that. You're going to get all of our Australian Open plays, golf, 5% NFL best bet, everything that's over at wagertalk.com. You can get there quicker with the shortcut wt.buzz/AL. Year is off to a really, really good start. And we hit 60% of 5% UFC plays last year. So it's a pretty good percentage. I'd like it to be to 65%, but I think we can make that a goal for this year. But it starts this weekend. All right, Parlay Buster. Jim, what's the fight that everybody's going to put in their parlays? And we're here to say, no, be careful. You could lose some money there.
Well, who do we say everybody? Are we saying the masses or our lovely people who tune in every week to check our shows and other people's shows, the educated,
we got the
right?
smart audience. They don't step on landmines here.
That's
not
right.
Our audience.
So I'm not going to talk about you guys. I'm going to talk about the general public. I'm glad you said that because that makes mine legit.
General public.
Yeah, general public, Sean O'Malley. Come on. That's the guy tuning in, right? Oh, UFC's on. I know what I'll play. Justin Gaethje and Sean O'Malley. There you go. There's 2 names I know. You think people are looking at the Sean O'Malley fight and saying, I don't want to bet on O'Malley. I want to bet on Yadong Song. Like they have any clue who he is. O'Malley will be tied to everything for the public. The books will need Song. And I think it sets up to be a real profitable situation for the books. Anytime the public's all on one side, be a little scared to be on that side with them.
It's the clear pick for me, too. I will just throw in Gene Silva.
I like that one.
Minus 270-ish. I think there'll be a lot of people that say, it was a blip on the radar. I get hit with a spinning elbow, but he looked good up to that point. But if he doesn't have his emotions in check, if there are problems at the Fighting Nerds, that could spell doom. So, all right, woulda, coulda, shoulda. This is the fight where we go, or the bet. It can be anything. Like where at the end of the night, we're just like, why? Why didn't I make more money off of that fight? How did I not make more money off of that one? What is it for you?
I was going to go my boy Derek. Still my biggest MMA win in my life was Derek. But these tend to hit on the undercard. So let's go down here.
I agree. This is a great call by you about the undercard is where the woulda, coulda, shoulda comes
That's
from.
always where they land, right? You're like, we're sitting here watching them. Why didn't we just lay it all on the second fight of the night? I'm not going to go with Josh Hokit. I am going to go. Where did it go? Gautier. Gautier is minus 105 to finish in round 1.
Oh, okay.
It's happened 2 fights in a row. We're not high on Pulyaev. It's going to be a firefight to start. Are we going to just like sitting there going, oh, yeah, duh, of course. Yep, that's what they wanted. That's what they got. UFC wants it. They get it. This is what happens. I'll be regretting not making money on that first round finish by Gautier.
Taking the fight right before you is Modestus Bukauskas. This is another one of these where nobody's thinking hard about the Krylov Bukauskas fight. Not when Pimblett and Gaethje are fighting in the main event, and then that chinny chin of Krylov gets popped once, and he lying down on his face and was like, "How do we not make more money off of the glass chin of Krylov at that point?" So Gautier round 1 at minus 105. That's an incredible price, man. It's a really good price.
I'm looking at this screen right now, and we honestly could do a shoulda, woulda, coulda on about every prelim fight on this card. If you go down the list,
good.
Like I think that's where the money's at. Get your money in on the prelims.
Yeah. So, all right, that's going to do it for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. First fight of the night, and exciting news. I'm going to go live. Jim can join me. Jan can join. Anyone on our team can join. But about 30, 40 minutes before each UFC card, we're going to go live on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. This is where we're going to talk about opening and closing lines of UFC. But really, this is where we're going to kind of do our weekly update. We're going to talk about bankroll. We'll talk about real money that we bet across all sports. It's for all access clients. It really is for everybody. but it's always going to be on these Saturdays, which is great to
Mhm.
talk about props, upcoming games for the weekend, things that are happening that night to get everyone squared away. So we're going to do a quick 30, 40-minute, all public, anybody can join in the chat. And then we'll jump over to the Winning in the Shadows YouTube channel and do our standard takedown live that we are very, very excited for. So good to be back. Good to have all of you back. Thanks a lot for joining us. Good luck on all your bets, and we'll see everyone Saturday. Bye.
See you Saturday.